Okay, good morning. So we'll start with the next topic, that is food processing industry. Okay, so this is related to agriculture. It's an ally of it, belongs to the agriculture sector. Some part of it belongs to the manufacturing sector. Okay, so currently this food processing industry is a very important sector, okay, in terms of growth and in terms of contribution to our GDP, because one, food is obviously very important for our growing population. Yes, and there is lot of scope in this particular sector. Okay, almost 32% of our food sector, I mean, or if you say 32% of our countries, 32% of our country's total food market is processed food. Okay, and it has scope for even further growth. It has scope for even further growth. So realizing the importance of this sector, the government of India, okay, and the Ministry of Food Processing Industry is investing lot of money, is developing infrastructure, has come up with schemes and program to develop this food processing sector. Okay, so in this particular topic we will discuss the brief background, okay, of food processing. Okay, understand what is food processing, what are the different types of food processing, know some data as well as some data relating to India, okay, relating to food processing and its importance. We will also try to understand the importance and scope of this particular sector, but the constraint, what are the challenges that this sector faces, and what are the various intervention or measures taken up by the government to promote this particular sector. Okay, so as far as agriculture, improvement of productivity, increasing the income of the agriculture, okay, or its contribution towards GDP, food security, generation of employment, increasing exports, and for improving the country's economy as a whole, food processing sector has a very important role to play. So in that context, we need to know all these dimensions of food processing industry. Okay, now let's try to understand. See, India is one of the largest producer of agricultural products. Several agriculture produce like milk, etc. We are the highest producer. Rice, we are the second highest producer. So India is one of the largest agriculture producing country in the world. Okay, including not only food crops but also cash crops like coffee and tea and cotton, etc. We are leading producer of these products. But the problem is that due to shortage of storage, due to logistic problems, okay, lack of infrastructure, okay, there is lot of harvest as well as post harvest losses. Lack of irrigation, there is loss of harvest. Lack of storage and transportation, there is loss of post harvest. So this has led to lot of wastage of food products. It is estimated that around 92,000 crores worth of agricultural products are lost because of harvest and post harvest losses. I hope you understand this important data. I mean, you don't have to remember the exact number, but 92,000 crore approximately is lost, okay, because of lack of infrastructure and other problems. So one data shows that if this is saved, we can, feed around 5 crore people every year with just rupees 50 a day. So that much of food grains are being lost, that much of food products are being lost in India because of lack of infrastructure, okay, harvest as well as post harvest losses in agricultural products. This is not only the case with India, globally also this is a big problem, loss due to waste graph. Okay, see, across the world, roots and tubers, almost more than 60% of it is lost, okay, due to wastage. Similarly, fruits and vegetables, more than 40% is lost across the world. Okay, just imagine how many people it can feed. Similarly, cereals, the wastage is around 25%, fish and seafood around 25%. So much of food grains and food products are being lost every day because of lack of processing of this food. Okay, so food processing will help mainly in reducing the wastage of these food products. Is it understood? Okay, so this is a basic background. Why do we need food processing? In order to reduce the wastage. So what is this food processing? So food processing does not only deal with this wastage, okay, but what is in general, how do we define food processing? So this is the definition. Food processing encompasses all the steps, okay, all the steps that the food goes through right from the harvest, okay, until it arrives to the consumer's plate. Everything, it can be washing and grading, it can be packaging, okay, it can be converting it into finer produce, increasing the quality of the produce, okay, converting into value addition like ketchups. Yes, so these are called as food processing. Everything that the food goes through right from the harvest, okay, till it reaches the consumer's plate is known as food processing. What are the types of food processing? So according to Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, they classify the processed food into 3 types. Okay, processed food is classified into 3 types. The primary processed food, secondary processed food and tertiary processed food. Okay, so the primary, secondary and tertiary processed food. So what is this primary processed food? It is the basic cleaning, grading and packaging. Simple cleaning, grading and packaging of fruits and vegetables are included under primary processing, is included under primary processing. Like for example, pasteurization of milk is included under primary. Packaging of fruits, grading it, okay, into different, based on the size, based on the quality, that is known as primary processing. The secondary processing include altering the basic product to a stage where the final consumption as can take place, like milling of paddy to rice. Okay, rice is converted into flour. Yes, so this is known as secondary processing. This is known as secondary processing. It can happen at the big factories, it can happen at the bakery, it can happen even in your house. Is that understood? So conversion of your paddy into rice or rice into rice flour is known as your secondary processing. The tertiary processing includes addition of value, includes value addition. The tertiary includes value addition. For example, ready to eat fruit, okay, ready to eat food like bakery products, instant food, health drinks, etc. Is that understood? So harvesting of tomatoes and grading the tomato is primary processing. Converting the tomato into ketchup is tertiary processing. Is that understood? Okay, so these are the 3 types of food processing. What is the basic objective of food processing? Why do you need to do food processing? Why has it been done for so long? It's even you also do the same food processing. Say for example, pickling, okay, is also an example of food processing. You take mango, you buy mango, yes, you cut it and then you put it into say vinegar, salt, etc. That is also food processing. That you do it at home. At a large factory level also it can be done. At the bakery level also it can be done. What is the main objective of food processing? Value addition, okay. Mainly why do you do it? Why used to? How did humans start doing food processing? Increasing the shelf life. Yes, because most of the commodities are perishable. So to increase the shelf life of the produce, okay, you do food processing. That is one of the major reason. Yes, then other than that, see, traditionally the food processing was done in order to preserve. So as you guys said, in order to preserve the food. So in the time of scarcity, fish, they dry fish. So excess fish will be caught, they will be dried. Similarly, meat also, excess meat, they will be dried, smoked, dried or otherwise. Similarly, vegetables, pickling is done in order to preserve the food. Is that understood? So that is one of the major reasons to preserve food. And the second is to make the food more digestible. Yes. So your wheat is converted into your flour, etc., to make it more digestible product. So that is known as food processing. In addition to that, you can also, it is also been done in order to suit the nutritional requirement of specific group, like for example children, okay, pregnant women, etc. To suit their needs also food processing is done, but mainly for the purpose of making it digestible, and second is to preserve it. This is how it was done traditionally. But today, in addition to this, what else are the purpose or what are the reasons for food processing? One, to make the food safe. Yes, so you clean it, you treat it, chemically or irradiation etc. is done in order to make the food safe for consumption. Yes, to make it safe, in order to provide better quality of food in terms of flavor, in terms of color, in terms of texture. Simple, fruits are taken, they are washed, they are graded and they are packed nicely, so you feel like eating it. Okay, yes or no? Yes, so to improve their quality. Okay, so both in terms of flavor, in terms of color, in terms of texture, because of convenient, to make food into forms that are convenient to use, to consume. Okay, and the traditional, to preserve the food, still continues. So this is the main purpose of food processing, to increase the shelf life, to preserve the food, to improve the quality of the food, to make it more safe, to increase the nutrient value of the food. Okay, for convenience like fast food etc. are the reasons why we process. Now let's see the global trend of food processing. Now let's see the global trend of food processing. Okay, so if you see, it is estimated to be around $3.4 trillion economy. Okay, it is considered to be a $3.4 trillion sector. Okay, food processing is valued at $3.4 trillion sector. Okay, and it accounts for almost 3/4 of the global food sale. Almost 3/4 of the global food sale is processed food. And the leading countries are your United States and European Union together. It accounts for 60% of the processed food sale. There everything is processed, I guess, in US and all. So almost all your day-to-day consumption is processed food. I mean, almost 60% of this processed food retail market is captured by US and European Union. But Asia is growing, yes, both in terms of population as well as in terms of economy. So we are catching up, and today with the growing per capita income and income of the and standard of living of people of Asia, okay, we are also preferring processed food. Okay, so therefore Asian region have also got huge potential. India, China and Southeast Asian countries have huge potential for processed food. Yes, okay, and in Asia, Japan is the largest food processing market. Okay, so Japan is a leading country in terms of processed food in Asia. Is that understood? So this is with respect to global numbers. So we have huge potential for exports. That is why this number is important. Huge potential for export of processed food from India. Okay, next, India's food processing industry, the challenge and this one. So let's first understand some numbers relating to India's food processing industry. So it contributes 9% of manufacturing sector in terms of GDP and 11% of agricultural sector. So out of the total agricultural sector, food processing contributes 11% and manufacturing sector 9%. Okay, and the total gross value added, okay, of the industry is recorded to be around $17 billion in 2016-17. The total gross value added to our economy is estimated to be recorded to be around $17 billion. These numbers, few of them you can remember. It is witnessing a growth of 9.5%. It is growing annually at 9.5%. We'll understand why, what is the reason why it is growing. It is also generating employment. 12.7% of the employment in registered manufactured sector, okay, comes from food processing industry. 12% of the organized employment in manufacturing sector is in the food processing industry. We are talking about organized sector. In organized sector, in manufacturing sector, it contributes to 12.7%. If you consider even in unregistered manufacturing sector, you add another 13%. Unregistered, your unorganized sector, your small retail shops, they also will do certain packaging and other things. Your local mill, okay, they also process the food. Yes or no? Your local mills, are they registered? No. Are they organized? No. But are they generating employment? Yes. So in organized sector 12%, in unorganized sector 13% of employment is generated in food processing industry. Now coming to the export of this sector. Okay, so food processing in India contributed to 3 billion in terms of export in 2017-19. In export, it contributed around 9 billion. So this is what it is currently industry. Now, why is it growing? What is the scope of food processing industry? Why is it growing today in India? Change in the lifestyle. Yes, today there is increase in the income. So what is the so young population, working population, okay, large section of women being employed. Yes, per capita income is increasing. So all this has got potential to this sector, is a potential for this sector. Yes, so that is one reason. Then urbanization. Okay, then yes, so globally also it is increasing, our population is increasing, globally also there is huge demand, and India is in a position where we are able to grow many variety of food products. So we have huge scope, we can produce many varieties of food grain, we can grow tropical crops, we can grow temperate crops, and this has huge, and we are located somewhere like in the middle of the trade routes. So we are able to access all the market across the world. This provides a huge potential for India's food processing industry. Plus Indian agriculture is increasing. Yes, the output of Indian agriculture is increasing, and this also, so unless we do value addition to it, there is not going to be much benefit from that. Yes, so therefore the government also has to intervene. So let's try to understand the current status of food processing. It is very low in India. Only around 2.2% of fruits and vegetables are being processed in India. Milk 35%. So milk has been being converted into say curds, cheese and butter, etc. So 35% of the milk is being processed. 6% of poultry, only 6% of poultry. 26% of marine, at least marine, because traditionally it has been done, so salting and drying of these crops. Meat, 21% of it is being processed. Okay, so this still shows that how low processed food industry or sector is in India. Why do we need this food processing sector in India? Why do we need? So it has potential to drive rural economy. Yes, because it will generate employment in the rural economy. It will create demand for agricultural produce. So all this will increase the, or it will have a impact on rural economy. Agreed? Yes. Second, okay, it will have a symbiotic relationship with the industry. It will promote agro-based industries. Yes, food processing industries rely on agriculture. So it will help in the growth of manufacturing sector and agricultural based manufacturing sector. Second, it will increase the farm grade price. Why? Why will the price increase? Because the demand will increase. With the increase in demand, okay, now agro-based industries will demand, food processing industry will demand. So with the increase in demand, the prices of the produce also will increase. Obviously, this will translate into higher income to the farmers. Yes. So it will also reduce wastage. So I told you, large amount of food products are being wasted, India and globally. So reducing the wastage makes these food available to the final consumers. Yes, and thereby curbing food inflation. Shortage will come down. Shortage of food products will come down. This will address inflation. Then it will ensure value addition like quality, okay, texture, color, etc. It will improve the quality of food that is available to the final consumers. It will promote crop diversification. Yes, so increase demand, increase input, etc. It will promote crop diversification. It will generate employment. As I told you already, it is generating employment in organized as well as in unorganized sector. So it will generate employment in the semi-urban areas, rural areas also. Okay, reduce migration from rural to urban areas. They will find job in their own village. Processing industries, small clusters can be set up near the villages, so they can generate employment. This is going to promote exports, yes, higher exports, okay, because if we try to improve the quality, if you try to provide better quality processed food, okay, there will be huge demand for it across the world. It will increase our exports, meet our balance of payment. Okay, all this is going to promote India's growth. All this will promote India's growth. So in order to improve the farm income, yes, we need to invest in food processing sector. For example, today government is investing a lot in agricultural sector. I told you that by 2022 we want to double the farm income. So government is investing lot of money into agriculture. Yes, lot of investment is happening. So this will increase the productivity of agriculture. So we are coming with evergreen revolution now. We are investing lot of money in agricultural sector. We want to increase the infrastructure, etc., etc. So all this will increase productivity. If you want to translate it to increase in income, we have to ensure higher returns. How can you ensure higher returns? By post-harvest management. Unless we invest in post-harvest management, all the effort that the government puts may not be reflected in higher income. You understood? So government is currently investing in agriculture. This will increase productivity. But at the same time, post-harvest management also has to be given due importance. We have to invest in post-harvest management. Otherwise, it will not reflect in higher returns. All these reasons. So even in your examination, you will write these points, not explain it, expand it, etc. If you have some data, you can definitely give. Yes. So I am seeing your answers. So you write one, you try to explain it in another word. The same sentence will be explained. So it will promote exports. Many of our agricultural produce can be exported to different market. It's the same thing. You write it differently is of no use. Next, potential for food processing industry. So same thing, whatever you guys said, potential. What is the scope of food processing industry? So one is there is a rapid growth of retail, organized retail. Yes, both brick and mortar as well as your e-commerce retail. Yes, big basket, your Amazon basket, etc. So there is a huge growth of organized retail. So this gives huge potential for the food processing industries, meet the demand. Okay, so organized retail would require, develop infrastructure from the farm gate till the consumer. So therefore it has got huge potential for processed food. Further, as I told you, because of economic growth in India, because of increase in per capita income, okay, we have a huge spending potential. We have a huge consumer base, and this consumer today is a middle class who is rich enough to buy these processed food. Yes. Next, consumer trend is also changing. Today's consumer trend is also changing. They are looking for convenience. Yes. So the demographic trend, that is young population, okay, middle class, rising income, nuclear family, empowered, okay, this kind of demography demands processed food because it is convenient. It is convenient. Okay, more women in workforce. All these factors have added to increased demand for processed food. Similarly, resource advantage. India has a diverse soil and climatic condition. Yes, has got a diverse soil and climatic condition, so we can grow different variety of crops. So therefore there is enough raw material to feed this industry. Next, continuing. Okay, so there is an explosion of convenience. Okay, this is fine. So there is increased willingness to pay a premium today by the consumers. They are not happy with low quality. Okay, we look for the better quality. So the increased willingness to pay premium. Then there is global shift of outsourcing. So we can produce processed food very cheaply. Yes, very cheap, because we have high production of agricultural produce. We have got labor is cheap, land is cheap. Okay, so therefore we are at a very competitive edge globally also. Yes, so huge potential for outsourcing in India across product and service, including food. Yes or no? Yes, so we have technological outsourcing. Now even food processing can be outsourced. So we can provide all these food, processed food to different countries because of resource advantage. Then high margin for the business. Okay, see how much does 1 kg, I mean 1 potato cost? One potato, I told you, no, it just cost 1 rupee. Okay, with that 1 potato you can make 2 packets of, okay, right? So 1 rupee can be converted into 20 rupee, huge margin. Same way ketchup, okay, so and it has got higher life shelf, so it can be stored for a longer period of time. Yes, so the margins are very high. Similarly, export market, there's huge potential for export Indian commodities like herbal products, okay, organic products, etc. So if we try to cater those specific sectors within the food processing industry, we'll be able to make more profit, high value addition, okay, high niche sector we can capture. Similarly, it has potential to improve the quality. So if we try to improve our quality, okay, we can export more. And today the government is investing in infrastructure, irrigation infrastructure, your agricultural infrastructure, post harvest infrastructure like storage, warehouse, yes, markets. We are investing a lot of money in these infrastructure. So therefore we already have a system in place. Okay, so that is another potential. We have got huge potential in terms of infrastructure also. So a lot of money has been invested in infrastructure in terms for agriculture. So therefore that is again another potential. Next, enabling policy. So the government is playing a very proactive role, okay, and has been promoting this particular sector both at the center and at the state level. We have got enabling policy, deregulation, liberalized economy. Anybody can come and open a industry, food processing industry. We have come up with schemes like mega food parks. We have opened 17 mega food parks across India. Okay, we have got schemes to promote. We have got an entire ministry dedicated to food processing industry, Ministry of Food Processing Industry. We have reduced excise duty. We have come up with GST, making India and the entire India one single market. So all this favorable policy also has helped the food processing industry. Then India is strategically located. Yes, so huge demand is there in Middle East, in Southeast, whose population is growing. Okay, so this provides market for Indian commodities. Yes, okay, so Middle East and Southeast, India can grow, cater to all their needs. Okay, then new business can easily enter and capacity addition can be made because of the kind of environment we are in today in India. Okay, economy is growing, population is growing, income is growing, so all this will add to it. Technology also is advancing, newer technology, better kind of processing technology have been added, okay, which can improve the quality, which can improve the shelf. Okay, global technology know-how and investment is increasing, so newer technology, newer types of processed food is coming up. Okay, then world's second largest producer of food. So India is the world largest second producer. So as I told you, raw material is available for food processing industry. So this is the scope of food processing industry. Does it make sense? So I told you what is the potential, what is the scope and potential of food processing industry. Next is challenges. Okay. Challenges or constraint with respect to food processing industry. So what do you think is the challenge? What is the constraint? Lack of infrastructure. Then though we are investing, there is still huge shortage of What infrastructure is short? Road, transportation, yes, cold storage, okay, warehouses, yes, marketing facility, that is absent. Then credit facilities are absent. Okay, so basic agriculture problems, yes, because of which production is untimely, etc. Then what else? Just think of what we have done so far. Yes. Okay, technology, yes, lack of advancement, research is not being done, innovation is not being done, so technology is still not advanced in India. Standards. In India, quality standards is not there. Grading and standardizing, that there is no specific national law dealing with quality. When quality is less, exports will suffer. Yes or no? So large consignment of exports, okay, like for example mango which was sent to Europe, an entire consignment was sent back to India because it did not meet their quality standard in terms of fertilizer or input whatever, or in terms of storage. They don't meet the international standards. Then in marketing what problem we have? APMC. Yes, that's a big problem, APMC, because the food processing industries cannot procure directly from the farmers. Yes or no? Under the APMC they cannot directly procure. So what will happen? Increase intermediary, increase the cost. So what will happen to the food processing industry? The cost also will increase. Anyways, we'll come to it one by one. So what are the constraints or what are the challenges with respect to food processing industry? One is lack of robust policy mechanism. At the center we have a policy, but agriculture is a state subject. In the states this problem is there. Policy constraint, policy paralysis of with respect to food sector, because they are not focusing on that. They are only focusing on farmers. They are not focusing on food processing industry because they consider it to be corporate. So vote bank politics. So therefore there is no robust policy at the state level. Further, whatever we say, the low investment of government is very low. In the beginning I put data. Investment, okay, on agriculture sector is still very low in terms of infrastructure, etc. is still very low. Another big hurdle for food processing industry is this APMC Act. So I already told you, APMC Act discourages direct marketing of food products to industries. So this leads to what? Increased cost, increase in the intermediaries. Yes, all of this will have a negative effect on food processing. Then there are other laws, Essential Commodities Act, Stockholding Act. All this prevents easy supply of food products into the food processing industry. So all this hampers the supply of raw material. Though we have increase in the production, it is not reaching the food processing industry because of the laws like APMC Act, Essential Commodities Act. Under the Essential Commodities Act, certain food products are prevented from being stored. There is a stock limit for it. Matlab you can't store more than certain limit. Okay. Then government can then lack of, as she mentioned, lack of food quality regulations. We don't have a robust food quality regulation. For example, food processing and quality is under the Ministry of Food Processing. The food safety and standard is under the Ministry of Health. So there is overlapping of regulatory bodies. So quality control becomes, so when there is lack of food quality control, yes, it leads to reduction in export. Next, another problem is taxes. So agricultural products are not taxed, whereas processed food is taxed. So increasing the cost of processed food. So therefore you will not consume those, or it will become more expensive. They have to be detailedly labeled. Okay, compulsory lab testing, etc. For vegetables, other regular food products, there is no such measures. But for processed food, it has to undergo all these tests. What will happen? This will add cost. This will add cost to the product. Okay, so increase the overhead cost. So these are called as non-tariff barrier. Taxes are tariff barriers. Then custom duties on raw materials like packing materials, machines. So your friend was telling, so the plastic, okay, that is used. So that has to be imported, let's say. So when you are importing, the customs duties are there, very high. So this affects the industry. Then there is inadequate infrastructure in the value chain. So as you guys said, warehouse is not there, marketing facility is not there. So all this will affect the supply of commodity. There is no reliable data, okay, for this sector. Lack of credit facilities, insurance facilities for this sector there. Now it is anyways considered as priority sector. whereas earlier it was not. So availability of credit loans to this sector was not there. Then even today India is not one single market, it is divided into several markets because of the APMC law. So lack of single market, lack of single market. If you remove it, it will reduce the transaction cost, it will remove the transaction cost. Okay. Lack of diversification of product, okay, and commercialization food products. So the research and development, R&D, the universities and all that, they are still focusing only on traditional line. They are not addressing what is the demand for the market, in the market. So, yes, okay, so R&D is not being done. Okay, similarly we are not developing, research on the basis of regional and prominent agroclimatic zones. Need to develop food development centers or research centers which cater specifically to regional requirements or specific agroclimatic zones. So as your friend said, this lack of skilled manpower in this sector, okay, because majority of this sector is still in the unorganized sector, the milling etc. is still in the unorganized sector, who do it still based on the traditional ways. Lack of processable quality product. So because the quality of product, the farm product that still comes out of our farms is of poor quality, okay, is of poor quality. I hope these are some of the challenges or constraints with respect to this sector. What are the government efforts to promote this particular sector? So as you know, it has potential for export, it has potential to increase farm income, it has potential for generating employment. So one thing is that it has allowed 100% FDI in this particular sector, foreign direct investment. It has allowed 100% foreign direct investment in this part. So this has increased investments, allowed private players, and therefore it has infused competition. Okay. Then today food processing industry comes under the priority sector under the new manufacturing policy. So government will, so those who want to invest will get certain incentives, tax incentives, subsidies, etc., because it has been identified as priority sector. Similarly, RBI has declared this sector as priority sector lending. So that means they will get access to credit. They will get access to credit. What is priority sector lending? Yes, so fixed amount of loan by every bank has to be given to priority sector. Okay, and they identify different priority sectors. So agriculture is a priority sector, food processing industry is a priority sector, renewable energy is a priority sector. So a bank has to give loans to these sectors. Under NABARD, the government has created a fund called as Food Processing Fund in order to improve, in order to ensure flow of money into this sector. Okay, especially in rural area for development of infrastructure, development of the chain. Okay, so this is another fund that has been created under the NABARD. Okay, then Dairy Processing and Infrastructure Development Fund has been created for processing of food under the milk food. Then we have a policy called as National Food Processing Policy, aimed at increasing investment in food processing sector. What we will be discussing is this umbrella scheme. Okay, this umbrella scheme for food processing, which is known as Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. Okay, PMKSY. So this is an umbrella program for the development of food processing industry in India. So there is a scheme PMKSY, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. So this will be a centrally sponsored scheme, okay, for the duration of 2016 to 20. The main objective of this particular scheme is to promote food processing industry, okay, through cluster based integrated cold chain infrastructure, okay, so which will be called as mega food park. So across India, okay, couple of districts will be combined and one mega food park will be set up. I'll just put up the picture. So you have written this mega food park, okay, so this is how the mega food park will look like. So mega food park, so couple of districts will come together, okay, and one mega food park will cater to like 3 to 4 districts. So how does this work? So you have the main mega food park over here. So let's say this is the farmer, okay, so farmer, individual farmer or self-help groups of farmers or farmer groups. So all of them will produce agriculture products. So from their farm gate, these products will be collected, okay, by your collecting centers, CC. Okay, there will be collecting centers at the village level where the farmers can supply their produce. You understood? So at the village level, you will have this. At the village level, okay. Then you have your primary processing center, basic processing like grading, quality check, packaging, storage. So the basic primary processing center. So this will be either at the village level or at the taluk level. You will have primary processing centers. So what all will be done here? Grading, cleaning, washing, all packing, everything will be done at this level. I hope you understood. This is just the collecting centers at the farm gate. Then at the village and taluk level, you will have the primary processing, which will be nothing but your grading and cleaning and other things, packaging. Okay, they all will supply to the food park that is located at the regional level, mega food park. So the trucks will come and supply these, okay, at this mega food park. Mega food park will be like your big IT park like that. So you will have many food processing companies located over there. So you will have good infrastructure connectivity right from the farmers till this mega food parks. The mega food parks will have all companies, okay, domestic, foreign, multinational companies, small, micro, medium, all these will be set up in these food parks. Like for example, Tumkur has one mega food park. So there you have many companies who will be processing. You can have a chips company, you can have a chocolate company, you can have a a dairy company. Yes, so all these will be working in the mega food park. So they will provide value addition. Yes, the finished product. So this can be provided for domestic retailers, food chains, etc. They will be sold to the domestic retailers as well as exporters. Similarly, the fresh products, okay, it will be clean, grade and cold storage will be done and it will be supplied to the domestic or exports. This is how it is going to work. It is going to work in a cluster based, not single, cluster based. Matlab all these farmers will form clusters at the village level. Okay, self-help groups, etc. also will be formed and thereby. So this mega food park scheme is based on cluster approach and it envisages farm gate, right from the farm gate till the final consumer. It will create state of the art infrastructure. It will be cluster approach. Cluster means all groups will come together to form clusters and it will provide this infrastructure for agriculture and horticulture zone, specific to this agriculture and horticulture zone. Let's say if Bangalore surrounding area, so it will be focusing on like your crops like mango, grapes and other things. If you talk about Mandya, it will be concentrating on sugar cane and rice. So it will be focusing on that region specific food grains and horticulture product. So modern food processing units will be set up in industrial plots like Tumkur. I told you it's an industrial hub. So where in the industrial hub they will set up these industries, processing industries and well established supply chain right from the farm gate till the mega food park. You have a supply chain which includes good infrastructure, cold chain, storage, warehouses, etc., electricity connection, all that. Okay, implemented by a special purpose vehicle, which will be a company. So that company will be involved in providing land, will be providing infrastructure, basic infra like electricity, everything. Okay, so they will be a companies under the Companies Act. So this is your mega food park. So currently in India there are 17 working mega food parks, which is helping the growth of this food industry. So what is it? It is integrated cold chain and value addition. Infrastructure will be created and expanding the food processing capacity. Infrastructure for agro-processing cluster. It will create backward as well as forward linkage. Backward means to the farmers, forward means to the retailers, to the consumers. It will also focus on safety of food, quality assurance infrastructure. It will also focus on quality, grading, quality, etc. And also it will focus on human resource and development of institutions. And to that, the government has also will be setting up specialized agro-processing financial institutions. So these will be a DFI, Development Financial Institution. So they will fund and provide credit in timely and affordable credit to this particular sector. So it is, so these are all announced recently in the budget. Okay, so a specialized institution will be set up to promote your processed industry. 100% income tax deduction is provided for food processing organization, which has a turnover, annual turnover of 15 US dollar million derived from post harvesting value added activity. So tax break is being given. They will also be setting up of your quality testing facilities at these mega food park to enhance the quality of food products or agriculture processed food. Then we have also come up with a scheme. Last budget the government had announced a scheme called as Operation Greens. So this will ensure, so this was in 2018-19 last year's budget, to stabilize the supply of tomato, onion and potato. So it is called as top crop, tomato, onion and potato crop, to ensure that it is supplied at a stable price to the food processing industry or the consumers. This Operation Green aims at preventing fluctuation in the food price of these. Similarly, the allocation of money to food processing industry has been doubled in our budget. Okay, showing the importance that is given to this. Similarly, under the Make in India mission, food processing industry is one of the sector that will be concentrated under Make in India mission. And to improve the skill development. Okay, so skill development ministry and Ministry of Food Processing Industry is focusing on human resource development and promoting such food processing institution to make improvement, quality improvement in terms of the human resource. Is that understood? So these are some important recent measures taken up by the government.